So when it comes to retirement, I have two main principles. The number one is be consistent, and the second one is start early, like today early. Like if you don't have a retirement account already, get one today. And the other thing is building good money management habits. So the faster you start flexing these money management muscles, the easier it will be to continue to do them throughout your whole life. And it will become so natural that you won't even think about it. If you start as a teenager in high school and you do this for your entire life, you won't have to worry about Social Security, you won't have to worry about pensions, you will have self-funded your own retirement, and any of that other stuff is just great. Pay attention to what we got. It's simple, it's not hard, but you do have to start early and you do have to be consistent. The other thing is, if you ask any adult who saved for their retirement, I can guarantee you they will not say, man, I really started too early. None of them will say that. In fact, most of them will say, I started too late. I wish I knew then what I knew now. I wish I started when I was younger. That's what everybody wishes they would have done. And some people might say, I wish I was more consistent, or I wish I would have put more money away. Nobody's in their retirement going like, man, I wish I had less money. That's not how it works, all right? So start early, be consistent, ask anybody who's saving for their retirement and they will agree. And you have the opportunity to do just that, okay? So let's look at an example. If you have a part-time job in high school, let's say you're 15 years old, let's say this is your first job, all right? Let's say that you only work 10 hours a week. You might work a couple hours during the week and then you work some hours on the weekend, 10 hours total. Let's say your salary is $10 an hour. All right, simple math, $10 an hour, you work 10 hours in a week, that's $100 a week. Let's multiply that by 4 because a month has roughly 4 weeks in it. So we're gonna say that you make roughly $400 a month. Now, my recommendation is to take 15% of that gross income, whatever it is. In this case, $400 is your gross income. What is gross income? We'll get into more details in later videos, but gross income just means that's the total that you earned before you had to pay any taxes. So $400, take 15% of $400 and you get $60. That's why this video is how $60 a month can make you a millionaire, all right? So you got $60. Let's take that $60 and we're gonna contribute that every month between now, which is 15, and when you retire, and let's say that's 65. All right, and the reality is, if you're doing this starting at 15, you might be able to retire much earlier than 65, but let's just say it is. The other thing is, when you're talking about retirement growth, you have to assume that there's some interest or some percentage of growth that's going to occur. So we're gonna make an assumption that between now and when you retire, you're gonna have an average growth rate of 10%. Some people preach that you're gonna have an average rate of 12%. Some people say it's 8%. Some people say it's 7%. Some people say it's more than 12%. So I'm kind of splitting hairs here and going in the middle at 10%. All right, so assuming that you have a 10% growth rate in your retirement account between 15 and 65, that is 50 years of growth, of compounding growth over that time period. That $60 a month is going to turn into $1,048,000 and some change. All right, the exact dollar amount and penny amount is irrelevant, but you're gonna have over $1 million in your account if you took $60 every month, put it away. Now here's the thing, if you add up $60 a month for 50 years, the total dollar amount is only $36,000. $36,000 turned into over $1 million because of the magic of compound growth. Compound growth only happens with money that you contribute and time. The thing you can't get back is time. That's why you need to start today. Now let's say, because it's common, and I've even heard this in my own family, well, what if we just wait? We can contribute more if we wait because I'll have a higher salary. Then I can contribute more. This is backwards because you're also assuming that you're gonna have the willpower to make those decisions later that you've now not done for a decade. Let's just assume it was a decade. Let's say 25 is your target now, because you're gonna say, okay, well, what if I just go to college, get a job, and work for a couple years, and then I'll have enough money. I'll make a high enough income to start contributing. So let's say that. Let's say 25. Let's say you didn't want to start at 15, you waited a decade, now you're at 25. All right, we're gonna assume instead of contributing $60, let's double that. So you're gonna contribute $120 a month. Well, $120 now to age 65. But remember, you didn't start at 15, you started at 25. So you don't have 50 years of growth, you only have 40 years of growth. Remember, that time component of the compound growth is what makes a big difference. So $120 a month times 40 months of compound growth, you're gonna end up with a total dollar amount in your retirement account of roughly $765,000 and some change. $60 a month gave you $1,048,000, but $120 a month if you wait 10 years only lands you $765,000. So you could have taken $60 a month and turned that into $1,048,000, or you could take $120 a month because you wanted to start later, and that's only going to turn into $765,000. You lost $250,000 in that 10-year gap because of that lost compound growth. And here's the kicker. If you spent $120 a month, then the total amount you contributed is actually $57,600, almost twice as much money compared to the $36,000 you contributed earlier, but you ended $250,000 less. The time component of compound growth is so essential. That's why you have to start today. But here's the good news. You don't actually have to pick. You don't have to pick $60 at 15 or $120 at 25. You can start at 15 with $60. And if you use the 15% rule of your gross income, then as your income grows, so does the dollar amount that you're going to be contributing. And if you do that consistently throughout your income, you're not going to just end at retirement with $1 million. You might have 2, 3, 5, 10. It all depends on how much income you end up amassing over the course of your career. But the component of this money management mindset of taking 15% of whatever you make and putting that towards retirement, that will benefit you so much in your life at going forward, to the point where retirement won't even be a concern for you. You will know that it's going to happen because you've automated this whole process. Just remember, guys, contribute consistently and contribute early, like today early. If you're under 18, talk to your parents about setting up a custodial Roth IRA account. If you're 18 or older, set up your own Roth account, and you can do it by yourself and start contributing today to set up your retirement in a way that you can't ever get back.